Hello, 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 and welcome to 52 Weeks of Flow, the podcast that delves into the depth of human potential and the transformative power of flow. On this show, we talk about peak performance, flow, energy, and bridge the gap between science and woo-woo. Through authentic stories and real-life examples, my guests and I will help you dive into your superpowers and create your next level of success. My name is Bea-Marie Aning, neuroscience geek, flow enthusiast, and your guide to rewilding yourself. I'm on a mission to raise the frequency of the planet by supporting you to untame yourself and step into your flow. Hello, my beautiful flow lovers, and welcome back to another incredible episode. Today, we're going to talk about and we're going to dive a little bit into the female psyche because it's not always a body thing when your body doesn't work the way you want it to. And that's why I brought on this amazing guest. Her name is Ashley Holmes, and she is a holistic fertility coach. So if you are having a thing about, having a baby, not having a baby, you want another one or not, or it's just not working, you need to listen to this conversation because it's going to be really spot on onto the topic. So welcome to the stage, Ashley Holmes.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
And I'm excited to have this conversation with you. Like we chatted a little bit before this, and I told you that a lot of my friends and clients are in the state of, having a baby, wanting another baby, and now it's not working. Then they go to fertility clinics or they do this or do that. What can they do? Let's just cut the chase and just what can they do?
There is a lot that we can do, and really everything I offer is holistic, is natural, is healing, and it has zero side effects. So it really is being intentional and taking that time and energy to focus on you and to shift the locus of control from external to internal and to really let the rest go, because some things are out of our hands, but there is a lot that we can really control and that we can find peace within and know that we have put our everything into bringing this to fruition, but perhaps not with the energy that you have been approaching it with so far. And I think that is a really important aspect to address, is just not so much doing and allowing your nervous system to come into rest and digest and to find a place of healing and stress resolution and nourishment.
Ooh, I love that. I really love that. But I also know that a lot of people probably say, yeah, I don't have time for that.
But the reason that you are so stressed is because you don't have time for the things that are actually going to help you and benefit you, not only on your fertility journey, but in the long run. So if you're thinking big picture here, you not only want to conceive, you want to have a healthy pregnancy, a healthy delivery, recovery, and be in a good mental and emotional place when this baby arrives here. And so really you can, I know we're so focused on the baby and, I just need to get pregnant or I just need to get this far along and then everything's going to be okay. And it really is maybe taking a step back and a bigger picture of what you really want this experience and this journey to look like and how you want to feel throughout it. Because I guarantee you, if you've been doing this for a while, this has probably taken a toll on you.
Yeah. Yes, it probably has. So if, somebody has done everything, and you said it in the beginning, we need to shift from the outside to the inside. How do we shift our insides? Like, what do we work with when we are burned out from trying everything?
It's so important because often, especially if you have been taking or using fertility drugs, it can really make you and amplify your feelings, your emotions, your expectations, and everything else. And that can really take you out of what you are experiencing. You may not be in tune and as in touch with your body. You may not be able to listen to the signs and signals that it's giving you because it is being chemically induced. And so it's really important to understand on a day in and day out basis how your body is functioning, how your digestion is, what are the thoughts that are repeating in your mind day in and day out. It's really important to have some awareness of what is going on internally and what you are ingesting, both on a physical, mental, and emotional and social level, because all of those are affecting you. All of the maybe societal or cultural beliefs that you have been raised with, all of those are affecting you and impacting you as well. And you probably aren't even realizing that you may be holding on to, your mother's beliefs or your grandparents' belief of what your family should look like and when it should look like that, and those types of things. And they all play in. And often we have also been conditioned to go onto birth control and to avoid having a pregnancy for the longest time and to take all these precautions. And then we expect that as soon as we stop, that we will immediately fall pregnant. And that is so often not the case. And health classes haven't raised us, depending where you are worldwide, in a way that actually represents, what and how long this can actually take to happen for so many people. And it is 1 in 6 worldwide, and that is just too high of a number.
Yeah. And I love that you brought up birth control, because there are so many things that have been going wrong in terms of the female body.
Yes.
Like most drugs that are out there are not prescribed properly for a female. They're tested on men. And what I just read something, I think it was last year that I read it, but it still makes me breathless, that in 2000 until last year, until 2023, tampons were tested with water.
What?
Yes, they were tested with water. And not even, pig's blood or something, but, menstrual blood is even different than, normal like blood that comes from a vein. So how on earth people thought we test that with water? So I am really on this holistic approach with you. Like we talked about that about the mind. We talked about listening to the body. What about the soul? What about that level?
It's really, I find interesting that most people that come to me don't realize it's also sort of their soul's journey's work as well, because often they're feeling lost and coming to me in a state and place where they feel like they've tried everything and what else can we explore? And they're just seeking more because the medical world has not offered them a place of healing and health that has left them feeling depleted and drained. And so that's not a place I want anybody to be. And I really come from my own journey personally of having twins over a decade ago, using a clinic and feeling stressed in a high-risk pregnancy and thinking with unexplained infertility that I couldn't have any more children. And I chose that I was never going to go down that road again. It's like, just be grateful that you got two, you got the dream, you got a boy and a girl, that's what most people are aiming for. And so it wasn't until I embodied and embraced a holistic approach that I was able to bring mind, body, and spirit back into balance and alignment. And by doing so, I was able to conceive naturally, holistically, easily, quickly, had a natural birth, not a C-section, and everything flowed with a lot more ease. And it really, truly empowered me and showed me what I was capable of that I wasn't tapping into or stepping into. And so really offering that to women, because really you can give your power away in this situation and say, well, if the doctor can't help me, then there's no hope. There's nothing that I can do. And I have seen so many women, and as soon as they start doing this work, the inner transformation that begins to occur that they didn't even know was possible for them. And the medical world isn't really tapping into our true abilities of what we can conceive in this lifetime.
So, what did you do?
What did I do? And what do I offer? It's an important question. So I offer yoga that is restorative and yin like, because this form of yoga, I'm trained in 5 forms of yoga, but what I offer to clients is these forms because they are yielding, they are quiet, they are calming, they are soothing for the nervous system. And this is what exactly your nervous system is seeking, because infertility is stressful. But what are we doing with the stress? And it's said in North America, at least, that it's as stressful as cancer. And yet it is not given the same acknowledgement or recognition that, say, cancer is. And yet so many people are struggling with it. And I offer a lot of meditations, chakra balancing, Reiki, and Ayurveda, which is the sister science to yoga. And that is the science of life. That is working with the mind and healing them, the mind and body together. And that is what will nourish your inborn constitution, how you arrived on this earth. And so you will find out whether you are predominantly a vata, a pitta, or a kapha dosha. And from there, you can learn what nourishes you ideally, because what is healthy for me may not be healthy and serve you in the same way. And it's really important to perhaps view life and your nutrition and to move in rhythm and harmony with the seasons where you are in the world in a different way that perhaps you haven't before.
Okay, we want to talk about fertility and infertility, but you just brought Ayurveda, and I know that there are a lot of people out there who probably have no idea what Kapha, Pitta, and Vata means. So can you please explain that?
Yes, so Vata types we all have the 5 elements within us. I'll start with. So we all have fire, water, air, space, and earth, but each one is composed primarily of 2. So Vata is air and space, Pitta is fire and water, and Kapha is earth and water. And when you know that and what your inborn constitution is, and your mind can be different from your body. Where I'm Pitta in the body, I'm Vata in the mind. So a lot of us can be Vata in the mind, which means we can be caught up in overthinking, being in our minds too much, not being present in our bodies. So it's important to know this, to be aware of this, and then it's a lot easier to catch yourself when you find yourselves in those cycles. Wait a minute, and find a way to ground yourself, find a way to come back to the present moment instead of staying ruminating in your thoughts.
Super interesting. How do I find out what kind of type I am?
I mean, I have a process I work through with my clients, but you can look this up online. You can find a quiz, you can find a lot of things to just find out which one you are, and you can begin to dive in from there. But it's important to have someone perhaps, not have you do all the work. You just give me some photos of when you were a child and what you look like now. And then I give you what you need, because you probably don't have time and space to do all of that. But I can just give you what you need instead of giving you all of it. Ayurveda is vast and expansive, and there's a lot to it. And you can just take what serves you and use that and see the difference that impacts and the influence that it has on your life, because I promise you it will.
I bet it does. And since we're talking about it, if you want to find out what Ayurveda type you are, I know it's a little bit off topic, but you can just email Ashley Holmes, and her email address, her website, her social media, everything will be in the show notes in the video, so you can reach her there. Just as a little side note here. But let's come back to fertility and infertility. When we talk about stress, like what does we know about burnout, we know about we know that the mind, plays tricks on you and all that stuff when you're stressed out. But what does stress do to the body, especially to our female organs?
It is taxing on your, when you're releasing stress hormones, when you are releasing cortisol and adrenaline endlessly, because each month you're like, no, it's going to be this month, it's going to be next month. You just continually are on this roller coaster ride and you just want to get off, and yet it's wreaking havoc on your organs and your hormones, and everything is connected and affected. It's not just one thing, but you may be dealing with grief as well. You may have suffered miscarriages. There's so much that can go on for any single person on their fertility journey. And so it's so important to, that's why I work one-to-one, is to customize things and tailor things for you, because you are unique, your journey is unique, and let's meet you where you're at and give you what you need that supports you to help you during this process, instead of holding on to that stress and anxiety. And really, perhaps no one in your inner circle is struggling with infertility, so it feels like it's just you. Maybe you're the only one of your friends. Maybe you're the only one in your family. Maybe you're the only one at work. And so it can become a really lonely and isolating place that adds to the stress. And then other times we can want our partner to be our be all and end all. And, they're in it with us. So we really can't have that expectation of them when they're in it too. So it's important to have processes and a way to move through that. And you can do that with breath and with movement and with mindfulness and nourishment, and really just becoming aware of what is showing up for you and not pushing it down and not suppressing it, just allowing what is asking to be moved through you to move through you.
I love that. I love it, to just let things flow.
Yes.
To whatever comes your way, you move it. Like, we talk a lot about energy here on this podcast. So we need to move to release stress patterns, whatever it is. So I love the approach of breath work. I love the approach of dancing, of movement. So this is really beautiful. Do you also, because you said one-on-one, do you also do that online, or is it strictly in person?
So I do have yoga classes that are online that are for the general public, because I'm a big, advocate for your health and well-being. If you don't have that, what do you have? You want to have a healthy, long life. You want to feel your best. So I do offer yoga classes online, and I do offer meditations online, because I feel like these are tools that we can all use. We are all going to encounter stress in our lives, not just those going through infertility. And if it's not infertility, then, you may bump up against something else. And when you know how to navigate obstacles with some more ease and grace and peace, then life feels a lot better and it flows a lot more effortlessly and smoothly. And those things don't take you down in the same way, and you don't stay in this stuck, stagnant place in the same way.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can say no to this question, but I'm just really, really curious, because you said that it came from your own story. It came from you, suffering from infertility and then going to a clinic and having boys. Like, for everyone who is not suffering, we also have a lot of male listeners here. So what does that do? Or in your case specifically, but I believe that a lot of women go through the same thing when they hit that road mark, this bump in the road, basically. Well, it's not a bump in the road, it's a major construction site. But like, what does that feel like? What are the, yeah, would you be able to tell us about that?
I would say it just felt like something was missing, and it just felt really, really high and really, really low, because I would think, yes, I'm there. And then it was like, no, I'm not. And try again and start over and pick yourself up again. And the longer that you're on that path, I feel like the harder it becomes to pick yourself up again, to try again, to go to the clinic, to stay positive. It can be a very hard place to sit in, a very uncomfortable place to sit in when there's shame, there's guilt, there's loneliness, there's isolation, there's fear. That's a big one, because not only do you want to know, all this energy and effort and time is going to result in a baby, but am I ever going to be a mother? We can just endlessly go down this line of thinking that really doesn't help us. It really doesn't serve us to stay in that state and place and to stay with those thoughts instead of perhaps visualizing consciously, what that would feel like, what that would look like, and being able to shift into that energy and that vibration and to come into a place of acceptance of your body, whether you're a mother or not, and self-love for your body, whether it's pregnant or not in this now moment. I think that is a really important thing to be able to find for yourself. And that is part of the soul work, the inner work that comes from doing this.
Absolutely. And what happened from, you having twins to all of the sudden naturally conceive and having a beautiful pregnancy and having a natural birth? Like, what happened in those years in between?
What happened in those years was I didn't think it was possible. For the longest time, I went off of birth control. I think, again, when my twins were 1 or 2, because I was like, why am I putting this in my body? I didn't need it before anyway, because I couldn't get pregnant naturally. So I just stopped. And nothing happened for years. It's not that I was trying. It's not that I wasn't trying either. I was just letting nature take its course. And nothing happened. And I just assumed, believed, talking about limiting beliefs, that I couldn't have any more. That wasn't possible for me. And always a little piece of me wanted to know why, right? Because the doctors could give no answers. All the tests were clear. There was no physical reason why this wasn't happening. And I'm here to tell you, you're not just your physical body. And when you can tap into all layers of your being, you really become unlimited. There is so much potential for you that you are not accessing, because I didn't realize I had an energetic body. I didn't realize that yoga was going to be my path into this deep inner work that was going to change my life for the better forever, that was going to bring forth another child. And now my family is complete and I choose to help others. But there was definitely a transition point of, wait a minute, and I was just drawn always to get onto my mat, and I didn't understand why until I started to study and realize the energetics behind it and why this was, so healing and clearing, and why I never got sick anymore, and why I felt better and had more energy and slept better, and all of these things that we may not deem that valuable, but they really do impact you and affect the quality of your day-to-day life and how you move through life and how you flow through life.
All right. Yes. I hear you. I so hear you. And I love the fact that you went in there, you went deeper instead of just giving up.
Definitely. I think that the whole experience, in reflecting back, was doing things the hard way and doing things the easy way, and, awakening to, having a spiritual awakening of what was possible for me, because I didn't have a mind, body, and spirit connection the first time around. I really was seeking and searching and looking for what is missing and not knowing what that was. And I feel like I found my answers. I was energetically blocked. That's why it was so difficult and challenging for me to be able to conceive. So a lot of the work I do is with the root chakra and the sacral chakra, because your sacral chakra houses your reproductive organs, and that's also where we hold our shame and our guilt and all of these heavy sort of emotions that we don't really want to sit with or look at because they're uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about it. Ooh.
I
So,
had a mentor who took me aside one day and said, you know, she got me to sit with my shame, which probably sounds bizarre to say, but, you know, to allow myself to sit with my shame. And for a few minutes, you know, my cheeks went red, I had tears coming down my face, but I was able to sit with my shame. And was it horrible? No, maybe it felt a little bit way in that moment, but I mean, no one had ever asked me or inquired me to be able to do that before, but it was really a different way to move through it, and for me to also not hold on to it any longer, and to be able to sit with any emotion that was showing up, because if something is showing up, you know, it's a messenger. It's not asking to be pushed aside, it's asking to be looked at and addressed.
absolutely. And I truly believe that we can only be whole if we accept all of those parts of us. And
Yes.
and our shame and our guilt are there because we can learn something from it. And it's like this. I saw this beautiful picture the other day where a person was hugging a shadow. I think this
Oh,
is really the essence of our existence here. It is to see all facets of us, to see every part of us, even the ones that we don't want to see, and love it and incorporate it and take it on a ride with us, because I truly believe that they're not here to harm us,
no.
but more in a, be like you said, a messenger, that they tell us something, that like our brain, our brain is such an amazing computer. It is this amazing system, but it's stuck in the past. It's still takes care of us just in case there's a saber-toothed tiger around the corner. There
Yes.
are no saber-toothed tigers anymore. So we need to move our brain from the past into the present so that it doesn't tell us about past experiences that we had and past habits that we had. And
I
I think
think
sorry, yes, go.
I was just going to say, I think that is so important to do on your fertility journey, because if you've had a miscarriage, or you went to the clinic and you had a failed transfer, or whatever the case may be, or a failed cycle, then that's in your body, that is in your nervous system. And then every time that it comes up again, you're back in that place. You know, you're energetically like captivated back in that place, because you probably in that time didn't have the space and vulnerability to be able to move through it probably in the way that you wanted to. You know, if you were sitting in a clinic or you were sitting in a hospital, then that probably wasn't feeling like a safe place for you to break down or to express all of the emotions that you were feeling in that moment. So you've probably held on to them. And now, if you get back to that place, are you still holding on to that moving forward?
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And
It's
like you
so
said,
important to, sorry, it's so
no,
important to have a safe, sacred space, though, I feel, to be able to have whatever emotion you're feeling, because often we can't express ourselves unless we do feel safe and secure. It's not going to happen. So you need to find that for yourself within your nervous system.
yeah. And like you said, like shame and guilt and all, like those emotions are stored in our hip area.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they are also our reproductive organs. So it all comes together and it's why can I not get pregnant? Well, it's all crammed down there. So
Yes.
we need to release it in some way. So before we part, can you give our listeners like one exercise, one yoga pose that helps release stress, like from the uterus, from the hips, from something like that, what they could start with today?
Definitely one of the sort of easiest sort of ones that you could do, either in a yin way or a restorative way, is a reclined butterfly pose, right? Where you are just opening your hips, your feet are together, your knees are out wide, and it's a great pose to be able to birth a child naturally as well, right? You need open hips for that baby to turn, to come out without medical intervention. It's a great pose to relax and breathe into, and to create that space and support for yourself. I think it's so important to pause and to listen and to take time to breathe, because when we don't, if we're stressed, we're just breathing into our upper chest and it's not even reaching way down to the depths of our lung. We should be breathing and fully expanding into life. Our belly should be expanding. It shouldn't be pressed up, tucked tight to our belly button day in and day out.
Yes. Ooh, that is so good. So everybody listening right now, if you have a moment, lay on your back, put your feet together, flap your knees to the side like a butterfly, and just let gravity pull your knees down. You don't have to do anything. You just lay there, and relax your hips. Relax your hips for a minute. And if you start to cry, that is perfect, because you're releasing emotion that have been stored for ages in your hips.
Our hips hold a lot of emotions, and so it is always, a disclaimer to say, if you are doing swan or pigeon or any sort of hip opening pose, things may surface, things may come up, and that is normal. Whatever is coming up for you is normal. And it also can be sometimes poses that we want to get out of. But often the poses we need the most are the ones we resist the most. So it's really learning how to play with that edge and find that place of, I can breathe into this and I can do this, and keep breathing. It's also so good for bringing that baby into the world, because trust me, I was like, thank goodness I know pranayama breathing techniques, because you literally breathe life into this world. It is done with the breath and yes, pushing, but I mean, it really is great when those things come together.
Yes. You just let it flow, and then it all comes out naturally. Ashley, thank you so much for this beautiful conversation, for all the golden nuggets, and especially for bringing us the mind, body, and soul connection when it comes to fertility. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. It's been a pleasure.
Yes, everybody, if this works now, there we go, because that's it. That's it for today. That's our show. Thank you so much for tuning in and staying with us until the end. I'm giving you a virtual high five right now, because you have been part of the Flow family for 2 seasons now. And how many amazing guests did we have, huh? Please, if you loved this episode as much as I did, then hop on over to Ashley's social media or into her DMs, write her an email and send her some love, because I truly believe that this is the kind of work we need in this world to elevate and expand our human consciousness, not just my consciousness or your consciousness, but on a human level for the whole world, so that we can birth more healthy and happier children, and at the same time be happier and healthier mothers. So if you love that, and if you know somebody who is truly amazing, then hop into my DMs on Instagram at moving_river, or send me an email, bea@superwoman.coach, and pitch that person to me, and I will definitely look into it. And until next time, my loves, keep shining, keep learning, keep growing, and keep flowing.